Welcome back to Sports Today. You know what day it is? It is the day when we will be starting off with all of our build up, of course, to the very big event that is going to be happening later this evening, and that is, of course, the opening game of the 2023 edition of the Indian Premier League. And of course, considering the fact that there's been a lot happening in the world of the IPL, it only makes sense that we start off today's edition of the Morning Wrap with Sports Today with a little bit of news regarding the IPL's opening fixture. And of course, yesterday there was a lot of speculation on the fitness of one Mahendra Singh Dhoni. Now, obviously, Dhoni is someone who is essentially retired from all forms of cricket except the IPL. So, a lot of Dhoni fans do look forward to really watching the IPL to get to see their favorite cricketer in action. And there was a news report that Dhoni might not be available for, the opening game of the IPL against the Gujarat Titans that will be taking place in Ahmedabad. Now, that is something that has been debunked at this point. Dhoni's fitness is not an issue, at least that is if you believe what CSK CEO Kashi Vishwanathan has told the media, including us at Sports Today. He said that Dhoni's fitness is not really an issue and he will in fact be taking to the field in the opening fixture of the IPL. So there you go. In case any of you are worried that Thala might not in fact be playing the first or maybe not the first few games depending on the severity of the injury, it doesn't seem like that's going to be too much of an issue. In fact, Dhoni will, according to CSK CEO Kashi Vishwanathan, be available for the first fixture against the Gujarat Titans. So that's some good news to start your day. Unfortunately for CSK, there have been injury issues across the board really when it comes to, some of their players. Remember, Ben Stokes is in fact nursing a bit of a niggle. He won't probably be bowling much, if at all. And they have also had to make do without, there's been a lot of speculation on the fitness of left arm pacer Mukesh Choudhary. Well, now we have an update on that as well. Mukesh Choudhary, unfortunately, will not be taking part in this year's edition of the IPL. CSK have signed a replacement player in the form of Akash Singh to come in his place. Now there is some similarity obviously between Mukesh and Akash. Akash is also a left arm seamer, so clearly CSK were intent on actually filling in that role with someone who would be at least providing a similar threat. Of course, Akash Singh, another young player, unfortunately, and he will also be someone, there's no surety whether he'll be starting every game, unlike say Mukesh, who remember last year was pretty much a key part of that playing 11 going forward in the early stages and even in the later stages. He was in fact playing a lot of the games, and he did get better as the season went on. A bit of a blow obviously for Mukesh Choudhary, but let's see if Akash Singh can actually make the most of the opportunities he gets, should he be given that many in the playing 11 of CSK. Now another interesting another interesting thing that was in fact happening is there's been a lot of speculation on the form of naturally KL Rahul, because of course he's not part of the he's not part of the scheme of things in at least two formats for the time being, but his LSG head coach Andy Flower has in fact backed him to come good this year. He said that Rahul's a great leader. He's someone who scores runs by the truckload when it comes to the IPL, and he's a great motivating he's a motivating factor for all of the players in and around the LSG camp. So we are of course expecting him to do really well. We're backing him to come really good in this year's edition of the IPL as well. Now of course for the IPL would be a key proving point for Rahul, because again he's no longer part of the scheme of things for T20s for the time being. So if he can have a really good season, who knows, he might very well force himself back into contention come the 2024 ICC T20 World Cup, because again in ODIs he seems sorted at the number 5 position for now. T20s though less so, considering that India have looked to go a little bit more on the youthful side of things come this year, especially after what had happened in the 2022 T20 World Cup. Now, switching our focus from the world of cricket to the world of football, the English Premier Leagues has in fact now approved a new directors test, and this is to ensure that people with questionable or come from countries with questionable human rights records don't take up directors positions in the Premier League clubs. Now, this comes after Newcastle United's takeover bid for Saudi Arabia was in fact approved. And it is worth noting that whilst these new guidelines won't impact anyone who currently owns the club, it will come in for future, and it's set to be a lot tighter. So in fact, if they find that any one of the directors is directly in any way involved with some form of human rights abuse or anything of the sort, they will in fact be barred from holding said position. It's a good move, although many can argue that it probably came a little too late, but hey, better late than never, right? Switching focus now, there's plenty of other sports we can talk about. There's a few interesting things, happening. Carlos Alcaraz, the world number one men's tennis player, is through to the semi-finals of the Miami Masters. Again, remember, he's the defending champion and is now only 2 matches away from defending that crown. He beat Taylor Fritz in straight sets, easy as you like, regulation win. Fritz, remember, who did in fact have a home advantage here because he's American and he had a pretty partisan crowd backing him, but Alcaraz was just too good on the day, as he is, truth be told, on most days. Now, switching focus for another racket sport and one where there are plenty of Indians who are in play. Shrikant, switching to badminton, of course, Kitambi Shrikant won an all-Indian affair in the round of 16. He beat Sai Praneeth to progress to the quarterfinals of the Spain Open Super 300. And PV Sindhu has also through to the quarterfinals. So there's 2 Indian stars who are, of course, currently in with a chance potentially 3 matches away from winning a title. For Sindhu, this is the first time she's reached the quarters of any tournament in 2023. Obviously, she hasn't exactly been the same yet since that comeback from a massive injury layoff. Fingers crossed, though, this is a good sign that maybe, just maybe, she will in fact be playing her best tennis sooner rather than later. We're ending the morning wrap with some Formula One related news. Now, you'd remember that Daniel Ricciardo had in fact last year pretty much left the grid once his contract with McLaren was bought out a year earlier. He's currently a reserve racer for Red Bull Racing, and he has revealed during this particular weekend, which is of course taking place in Australia, his home country, that he has in fact set his sights on a comeback for the 2023 season. And whilst obviously he's not divulged any details, he has said that, look, I do feel keen to get back to 2023 and the signs are pointing towards a comeback next year. We'll be doing a detailed video later on in the day on that, and of course previewing the Australian Grand Prix, which is going to be happening at pretty favorable times if you're in the Indian subcontinent, considering our proximity to Australia. That is, of course, for later in the day. For now, though, I'm taking your leave. Thank you guys so much for joining us. If you enjoy our work over here at Sports Today, please don't forget to like this video, share it with your friends, subscribe to the channel, tap that bell icon, leave us a comment. Also follow us on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. And last but not least, don't forget to download the SportsTech app as well. Also, if you're already on the channel, go ahead and check out some other videos that we have done. And for now, though, from my side, goodbye and stay tuned to Sports Today today. Plenty more coming your way.